Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I record a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And if you are looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today, we are doing chapter 80 of The World Which Is. Do you know anything about a dungeon west of here? I place the map on the bar for Sam to look at. He shakes his head and looks over the room. Al, come here. Come over here. Al's an orc and a woman. You've been traveling between here and St. Louis a few times. St. Louis a few times. He taps the X on the map. You know anything about a dungeon there? She looks it over. I know there is one. Came across a party going and coming back from it a few times. I can't tell you anything about it, though. How far from the city is it? I ask. I'd say 3 days, but it depends on how hard you're pushing. She taps a geometric shape on the other side of the line marking the trade route. That's Lime Rock. You can't miss it. There's a trail there. Figure it leads to that dungeon. So the city runs it regularly? I guess. Do you know how often, when they ran it last? She looks at Sam. Is he for real? The Minotaur shrugs. She looks me over. I'm still in armor. Is this something you do? No, Brenton, a friend of mine, got himself in trouble and we need to get something from the dungeon to get him out of it. I'm trying to get a sense of what to expect from it. From it. Oops. From it, what we need to prepare for. She chuckles. For someone who doesn't do this for a living, you seem to know what to expect. We have a dungeon back home. We have expedition to it every month to a couple of months. It's to give it time to repopulate. Is there anyone you can check in with? You can check with, Sam asked. Actually, this would be Brandy, not Brandon. Brandy's a friend of mine, so anything that helps would be good. I can ask around, she replies, but that won't be until tomorrow. I want to convince her to work faster, but I also remember my other time in a dungeon, utterly unprepared for it. I probably don't know the questions to ask to properly prepare, but I know that more information is better than nothing. Okay, I'll be here tomorrow from dinner time on. If you can get details on it, I'd appreciate it. I can pay for the information. I get the feeling it's a way to go through the money I have left faster than I'd like. But even in court, people expect to be paid for the work they do. She chuckles. Let's start with what I can find out from the people I already have to talk to tomorrow. If that's not enough, or if you need something specific about it, we can talk about referral fees. Deal. I take the food to our table and talk over strategy. Other than going there and killing everything we come across, there isn't much more we can discuss. Brandon is our expert, but while he still shows up on the team list, he isn't answering questions in the team chat. I don't know if he's being stubborn or the old man's somehow blocking us. Falling asleep is hard. Worry makes me toss, and I wake up a few times thinking I just watched Brandon's life being sucked out of him, or the four of us die in a dungeon. I really need Sam's coffee when I go for breakfast. Silver and Ellen look better than I feel, but they too seem to have to force themselves to eat. After that, we shop for things we might need. Bandages, since portions are out of our budget at this point. Food rations, mainly hard bread and dried fruit, to go with the overabundant jerky I have, and water skins, lots of them. It's only 2 slots between them empty and full, and I don't want us to run out of water in the dungeon. This isn't like the other one. We don't get to just turn around and leave if we run out of something. Or at least not without it costing us time. Costing us time, Brandon might not have. Okay, there's no coma here. Brandon might not have. By lunchtime, I can't think of anything else we need that we can afford. Better armor, weapon, mana potions, along with health potions would be useful, but out of our range. We'll just have to be careful. Silver keeps busy putting on a show for free in Sam's Inn. I do my best to let that distract me, and Ellen leaves the inn as soon as we're done eating. I know I should find a yard and practice something, just so I'm not sitting here worrying, but that's tougher to do right now. Tough. Tough to do right now. Al returns not long before dinner time, and I have trouble staying seated. I'm sure me pestering her about what she learned isn't going to make her want to tell me any more than she might already. So, the orc says, once she's seated opposite me with a mug of something steaming that isn't coffee, I have information and people you can talk with tomorrow if you feel you need more details, all free of charge. They actually seem happy to learn someone else was taking an interest in the dungeon. Did you learn how often and when the last time was? They try for every 6 weeks, but they go in with a party of 10, and they can't always get that many on time to stick to it. Last time they went in was a little over 3 weeks ago. With a team of 10? If they need that many, the old man's promise the dungeon was going to kill us might be more true than I'd like. Yes, I get a sense they go for. I get the sense I got from the conversation is that they like going in with overwhelming forces. They go in more to farm the items they can find than for the leveling experience. I breathe a little easier. Did they say how far they go? They clear it each time. So, the dungeon will have repopulated somewhat. They take everything each time? Why didn't the old man pay them to get that crystal he wants? Even if he doesn't have money, he's bound to be able to trade something. I don't know. When he says that they clear it, I figured that's what he meant, but I didn't ask for confirmation. We can ask him if you want. Is the crystal something that regrows? If so, again, why doesn't the old man have a deal with them? Or is it something only he understands the value of, and if they learn about it, he won't be able to get it anymore? That would explain why he's not dealing with these people already. Oh no, with the people already going in. Actually, with these people, you know what? I do prefer that. With these people, if I talk with them or ask them to come with us, will that make it easier or harder for me to get the crystal? Tell myself that yes, of course their help will make things easier, but Xander taught me that greed is a powerful thing. Detroit's taught me that everyone can fall victim to it. If the old man's going at it in this roundabout way, that crystal is valuable to him. Can I risk Brandon's freedom on the hope someone helping us won't realize that and decide they want to exchange that for money? Fuck. I hate that seeing people that way. I hate that I see people that way now. But better knowing this ahead of time than discovering the kind of asshole people can be when they take it from me and doom Brandon to die. Thank you. Do you want his name? Like I said, he'll be happy to answer more of your questions. No, I'm good. The words are out while I'm still trying to convince myself I could trust that man enough to ask questions, but I'm not sly like Brandon. I can let something important slip and not realizing. Thank you. Are you sure I can't repay you in some way? She smiles. It's all good. Like I said, I was already in that area, so I didn't need to go out of my way. Bring me back a souvenir from your time in the dungeon if you need to repay me. I've never had something like that. I'll get you something nice. She leaves for another table, and not long after that, Ellen sits down. Unless you need to shop for more things, I tell her, we're leaving first thing in the morning. The weather doesn't cooperate with us. The rain as we head out is hard enough. It makes it through the tree's canopy like they aren't there. It doesn't get any better once we're out of the city. Well, pushing ourselves was part of the plan. We don't even make it halfway to the planned stop before we can't stand it anymore. Ellen manages to get a fire started and maintained long enough for us to heat up a meat and vegetable soup. Then it's called misery in my tent. I get in more reading. I get in more reading, but that's about it. The next morning, the rain's down to a drizzle that ends a few hours later. Then the warmth of the sun and a beautiful blue sky accompanies us. I actually feel hopeful by the time we make camp, although I keep that in check. I don't trust the system not to make something happen just to remind me the world's harsh. Like I need the reminder. 2 days later, we're at Lime Rock. I'd wonder why the name, now I know. The rock pillar is kinda green. Don't know if it's lime green since I've never seen one, but it's a reason for the name. The trail's easy to find, and by the end of the day, we're in a clearing at the foot of a cliff with an opening in it. There are extinguished campfire as well as evidence of where tents have been set. We made camp and rest. Tomorrow we go in and we aren't coming out without that crystal the old man wants. And that concludes Chapter 80 of The World Witches. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter will be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read this story, it is available for free on Royal Road. If you want to read ahead of that and support me in the process, that is on my Patreon, where we are about 10 chapters ahead. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Links are in the notes, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.